The New Paradigm Institute, a nonprofit pushing for UFO transparency, held a live stream event called Global Disclosure Day, where many things were revealed. We're going to jump into all of that. Let's go. Now, so the New Paradigm Institute had this special day, right? This special live stream event where they were going to have several different speakers, and they did. Okay, I'm going to put a link to the description to the full video down below. Check it out. But this is what it was about. You know what? Let them explain it.
We are thrilled to announce the first ever Global Disclosure Day on October 20th, a historic event that brings together Citizens for Disclosure groups from 43 states and around the world for a unified call for transparency.
So they held this event and there were many speakers, and I'm going to cover a few of them today, such as Ross Coulthard, Danny Sheehan, and of course, Karl Nell, a retired colonel who now is an aerospace executive who, for the first time ever, revealed his firsthand knowledge, his firsthand experience.
And I'm speaking to you today to tell you that there is zero doubt this is absolutely true. I know this personally.
Okay, we are going to learn that faster than light travel is possible. There's an underwater UFO base off the coast of California, and that Americans are shooting down UFOs to recover the technology, and much, much more. But let's start with retired Colonel Karl Nell, and these comments specifically.
Non-human intelligence exists. Non-human intelligence has been interacting with humanity. This interaction is not new, and it's been ongoing. And there are unelected people in the government that are aware of that. There's zero doubt.
You see, he made these comments this past May at the SALT conference. And it's the last time he's spoken since, well, this clip right here, which is from the event.
Non-human intelligence exists. Non-human intelligence has been interacting with humanity on this planet. This interaction is ongoing and it's not new. And there is zero doubt. But you already knew that.
And he basically reiterates the same sort of point, right? Well, let's hear him talk about what he has to say about faster than light speed travel. Did I say that right? Faster than light travel. Let's just say it that way. Take a listen.
The second point is faster than light travel. Everybody says faster than light travel is not possible. This is false. Miguel Alcubierre, a postgraduate student at the University of Mexico in 1994, solved Einstein's equations for an effective faster than light mechanism. NASA has investigated this. Everyone accepts his solution as valid. His solution requires negative energy. In 1960, quantum physics demonstrated or predicted the reality of negative energy. In the 90s, the Casimir effect was demonstrated in the laboratory. The Casimir effect demonstrates negative energy. The expansion of the universe, which is caused by dark energy, is negative energy. So we have a solution to Einstein's equations that allow effective faster than light travel. We've got the existence of negative energy proven. This isn't an engineering solution. This isn't a means where we can go and do this, but theoretically it's possible. And this is not argued by modern scholarship. So from a first principles, life is more than likely common. And we know that Einstein's equations support effective faster than light travel. That's the first principles argument.
Okay, so a lot of that is way over my head, right? But the one thing I do understand is that technology and probably new advances in science have been suppressed, have been hidden. That I'm pretty sure of. So, anyway, that's a fascinating idea by Colonel Karl Nell there. But let's get to another point that he made, which is kind of interesting, right? Testimonial evidence, right? About this non-human intelligence, because make no mistake, that's what this is all about, right? The existence of non-human intelligence. And not just that, right? Underneath that, you have the craft, the bodies, the technology, the cover-up. There's a lot there. So listen to what he has to say about that.
The second is the testimonial. Perhaps there are people out there that may know more than some of us might know, including people that have been in the intelligence community, such as myself. So we can look at several presidents, Barack Obama, President Trump. They both said UAP are real. We can look at, as was mentioned earlier, Chris Mellon, Dave Grush, Lou Elizondo have said non-human intelligence is real. We can look at Lord of the Fleet, Lord Hill Norton, a chief of the defense staff in the United Kingdom in past years, have said UFOs are real. We can look at the first Earl Mountbatten of Burma in the United Kingdom again, that have said UFOs are real. We can look at the chief of the Canadian Defense Ministry, Paul Hellyer, who have said non-human intelligence is real. We can look at Haim Eshed, who is the Israelis' father of their space program, who has said non-human intelligence is real. All these people and more would be in a position to know.
Now let's hear Karl Nell talk about the evidence, because that's what's probably the most important, right? The hard evidence, proof, right? Something to show us, the public, that this is real. And this is what he had to say.
Then we can look at the evidence, the data. You've seen the videos, the floor video, the gimbal, the go fast. A lot of people probably don't know Gordon Cooper, one of America's 7 Mercury astronauts, chased UFOs over West Germany in 1951. He testified to that fact before the United Nations in 1978, analogous to the David Fravor Tic Tac incident. We can look at the UFO incursions over the Northern Tier ballistic missile early warning sites in the 70s, and the document supported and testimony supported readiness status change of our ICBMs in the 60s at Malmstrom Air Force Base, where many missiles were taken offline by a UFO. The analogous thing happened in the Soviet Union contemporaneously. In their case, the missiles were brought online. There's an agreement between the United States and, at the time, the Soviet Union, intending to reduce the threat of nuclear war, that talks about each party notifying the other if UFOs are impinging on their warfighting systems, because this was recognized as a fact. There's documentary evidence, the Twining memo from 1947. General Nathan Twining, future Chief of Staff of the U.S. Air Force, wrote a memorandum that said the UFOs are most likely extraterrestrial. There's an official Australian documents declassified on the National Archives of Australia from 1971 from their defense attaché that made a formal assessment of the United States' interest in UFOs, the reality of that, and the fact that the US was investigating anti-gravity programs in concert with looking into UFOs, a conclusion that would make no sense unless the reality of this topic was demonstrated. So some people say, well, if this is real, why don't they fly over the White House or something? Well, in 1952, UFOs flew over Washington, D.C. over 2 weekends. There were radar visual sightings, there were air-to-air intercepts, and it created the largest press conference since World War II up to that time. People say, well, why don't they just land during the middle of the day? Well, that happened in 1994 at the Ariel School in Rura, Zimbabwe, where UFOs presented themselves with beings and occupants on the ground, witnessed by numerous children. The exact same incident happened in 1966 in Westall, Australia. The people that witnessed those events are still alive, and they continue to state the assertion of that being a factual occurrence. So these things taken together, along with much other evidence, suggest that this is absolutely true. And I'm speaking to you today to tell you that there is zero doubt this is absolutely true. I know this personally.
Now, there he is admitting for the first time that he knows this personally. Now, I would infer that to mean that he has firsthand experience, right? Firsthand knowledge with the phenomena, which would make his understanding of it all the more clearer. But more importantly, it would make his belief in it all the more understandable, right? So that's fascinating. Will we hear more about it? I hope so. But let's move on. The next clip I'm going to show you is from Ross Coulthart. Now, he's a journalist out of Australia, works for News Nation now, right? He broke the David Grush story, the UFO whistleblower who testified in Congress last year, one of 3. He is going to talk about what he knows about UFOs and how we're shooting them down to recover the technology, and also the implication of what it means that we're interacting with this non-human intelligence in this aggressive, sort of combative way, right? Take a listen.
Wouldn't it be a tragedy if our first encounter with a non-human intelligence led to us acting offensively, violently, and aggressively against them? And that's what I understand is happening. I am told we, the American public, should be informed we are using high-pulse microwave weapons against non-human craft. And we are bringing those craft down so that we can retrieve them and salvage the technology. God knows what we're doing to the alien beings inside those craft. I hope we treat them with respect. Heaven help us if there's ever a reckoning for the crimes and the immoralities that we've committed in the name of national security.
Let me know what you guys think of that in the comments, because I found that a little bit, I don't know what the right word is, just kind of interesting, I guess. It's more, where are all these craft? How many are we shooting down? Is this like a weekly thing? You know, I just have so many questions. Have we done it just once? Because it makes it seem like it's something we're actively doing. And how long have we been doing this? Have we made a mistake, right? Have we shot down something that wasn't a UFO? Has some got away? Did they attack us because of it? Didn't word get out later on that, hey, guys, they're shooting us down with these things, right? It feels like they would be able to combat that or figure a way out, right? The NHI I'm talking about, right? The aliens. I figured they'd be like, hey, they're shooting this stuff at us. Anyway, tell me what you think in the comments. So many questions here, but fascinating. This is a great event, and we still have way more to cover. So look, let's jump to the next clip. This is absolutely fascinating, okay? This is from Danny Sheehan, who is the founder of the New Paradigm Institute, who put on this event. And what he has to say is mind-boggling. Let's play the clip, and then we'll discuss.
Bases here on our planet, many of which are located high in the desolate areas in the mountains, where very few people ever go, and beneath the sea. There's a major base in the Pacific that we're virtually certain exists off Baja, between Baja and Guadalupe Island, potentially beneath the ocean floor. This has been monitored. We have hundreds of videos of the vehicles coming and going from that location and plunging into the sea and going down into and coming from this base. This is extraordinarily important for everyone to understand. Very importantly, there is some percentage inside our national security state apparatus that knows this to be true.
So Danny is basically saying that there is an underwater UFO base off the coast, right there, Baja California, in between this island, Guadalupe Island, right, Guadalupe Island, and the coast there of Baja, right? And it's about 264 kilometers of space, right, more or less. There's, underneath the seafloor, right? But more importantly, what is on that island is interesting. It's a military installation, right? And let's not forget that in that exact area, right, is where one of the most famous UFO encounters ever happened. The Nimitz with David Fravor. Remember this video?
As I start to pull nose onto it and it crosses right in front of me, it just goes poof and it's gone.
Yeah, that's right there, essentially, near there, right? And this video from 1966 that still has yet to be debunked as far as I know. All happening in the same region. And if you look up, UFOs in that area. There's a lot of stories and things that have been going on for decades in that area. So this is fascinating, right? But what evidence do they have of the base? I get UFO activity may be, whatever, very active there. But what about the base? If it's under the seafloor, like, do we have video, photos? Like, what proof do we have of the base? Right? Even if we saw UFOs going into the seafloor, we can't assume there's a base there. We don't know. But they seem to think, right? Danny seems to be pretty sure of himself about this. So I don't know. I've had Danny on the show a couple times and we've spoken. I trust him. I respect him a lot for sure. And this is, I don't know. Take this all with a grain of salt, I guess. But a lot of revelations in this event. I hope just some proof of this stuff comes out, because I do love hearing about it. I'm fascinated by it. But some proof to back this up would be great. Let's be real. So, look, let's move on. The final thing I want to talk to you about may seem a little contrary to what I just said, right? Where's the proof? Where's the evidence? And I do feel that way, but I also have to remember, I don't know anything, right? And even at this point, right, in humanity's journey, we don't know what is out there. Take, for instance, when I first learned about this, right? Just how the planets move through the universe, right? Like, we don't have any idea what's going on. We don't know the limits of everything. We don't have everything figured out, right? So, take, for instance, this. This is a clip recently of Elon Musk being asked at an event about, UFOs in this program, right? Because people would say, well, he would know, right? I mean, he builds rockets. How does Elon Musk not know? But listen to what he has to say.
Good afternoon, Elon. As somebody who is directly involved in the pioneering of space travel, what is your perspective on the suppression of advanced technologies under UAP crash retrieval programs and other black projects such as Immaculate Constellation that have the potential to fundamentally change human society?
I'm not familiar with those programs, but I mean, I certainly think if there are technologies that can be helpful, the government's aware of it. We should obviously provide that technology to the people. So I should say that people often ask me, do I believe in aliens? I said, well, I was one, according to Homeland Security until I got my, it literally said alien registration card. I'm like, cool. But I mean, thus far, I have not personally, I'm not aware of any evidence for aliens on Earth. I'm not saying they're not here, but I have not seen any evidence for aliens. For our Starlink constellation, we have never had to maneuver around an alien spacecraft even once. And we've got 6,000 satellites up there. So, I mean, they're very subtle, is what I'm saying, these aliens, But I think if there's if there's interesting stuff that the government's aware of that American people would find interesting or useful, we should obviously make that known. We should publish it.
So there you have Elon, right, just denying that he knows anything about aliens, right, and kind of making a few jokes, which is understandable, right? But at the same time, he believes in UFO transparency.
There's essentially the first principles argument, which basically says, counter to common belief, that life is common in the universe. How do we know life should be common in the universe? There's 20 billion sun-like stars in the universe. The sun is a population 1 star. There are planets like this, there's stars like the sun that are 5 billion years older than the sun. That's plenty of time for other civilizations to evolve on these other planets. There is recent scholarship that says that life evolved on Earth in the Hadean era. The Hadean era was before the crust even cooled. There's recent scholarship that says that microbes have been found in terrestrial rock that have dated to 2 billion years ago, essentially in stasis. So life evolved here very quickly. There are many, many planets like the sun, and there are many, many planets that are much older than the sun. people that would argue that life is uncommon have to justify that proposition more than anyone would have to justify the fact that life evolves very quickly.
I hope you enjoyed today's video, y'all. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all. Peace!
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep.